Well, we're live. Hi, this is Dr. Randy Hardy. Thank you for joining me tonight. I know it may be a little later for some of you. I wanted to start the broadcast a little later for people on the West Coast who told me they weren't able to join it. So hopefully it's okay for everybody. It's about 10 o'clock my time here. And tonight I'm going to be talking about two very special subjects that are dear to my heart. I'm very passionate about. One is natural healing and wellness. I graduated as a chiropractor in 1978 and obtained my naturopathic drugless therapy diploma around the same time. I've been working in wellness destination programs for many years, some years spent in Florida. And so tonight I want to blend these two very interesting, and they can be complex subjects, and hopefully be able to make them comprehensible enough for you. Now, I'd love you to throw some comments my way because this can help steer me to um, I have a structure in place, but this can help steer me to your particular interests. Okay. So if you could put your comments in, even just say hello. I know some of you may be shy, but just say hello and just let me know you're here. Okay. That the sound is fine and you can see everything. Okay. So don't be shy. So I have a presentation here for us tonight to follow along. The first part of this presentation I want to speak about is about natural healing, natural wellness. Now, natural healing is an incredible modality as an adjunct to orthodox medicine. And I think everybody should at least try to follow natural medical principles first before using drugs or surgery, if possible. And then I'm going to, in the second part of this presentation, I'm going to go over astrology and how it works within the natural health setting. It's also called medical astrology. Okay, so both topics are somewhat a little bit complicated, but I don't want to water them down to the point where you don't have an understanding of what I'm actually getting at, but a thorough understanding of some of the principles that we'll go over tonight. So let me just start this up here. Okay, so there we go. Good. Let me get this off here. Okay, so here we go. So this is going to be a particular, again, a presentation in astrology and wellness about Supernaturally Well, a company that we have had for a while with my wife. It's a merger of actually two programs, Saikon Shikara, and I'm going to go into that more depth, wellness principles, and Destiny Cycles Research, which is our astrology branch. And over the period, over the next 6 or 7 months especially, we're going to be doing a lot of videos on wellness and health. Marian's already preparing some of her videos for recipes. We'll have downloads for you. And we want to make this a very comprehensive program for you. Our passion really is to get people into a high wellness state. So what we do, okay, our mission is to help people attain wellness in both mind and body, enabling self-care and optimum health through natural healing principles, okay? And also the wisdom of astrology as they work in our daily lives. Okay, so all of our presentations, we want to make them simple and doable, practical and effective, no fluff at all. Okay, So the first point I want to mention to you that most people in natural healing believe is that there is a vital force in the body. And this vital force in the body is an intelligent, innate principle that governs everything. So just imagine it this way: that there is that when you were born, before you were born, there was your father's egg, sorry, your mother's egg and your father's sperm. They came together to form a zygote. They split into 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, 16, 32, 64, 128, help me, and on and on and on, until there was over 70 trillion cells in your body. Just think about this. And it's not under the control of your conscious mind. For those of you who have dinner, you're not consciously thinking about adding a little of this enzyme and that enzyme to digest your food. It's all done naturally, and your heart is beating 72 beats a minute. Your breathing, your respiratory rate, everything is governed under one particular power, this vital force in the body. And this is important to understand, because when we look at what actually controls the body, we know what inhibits it and what allows it to flourish. And I'll go into these principles in a moment. Okay? Now, especially because COVID is here, I know there's talk about, different vitamins, minerals, take vitamin D, take zinc, vaccinations, and so on. But I think that the mainstream media, most of it is missing one of the most important components of immune system building, and that is your lifestyle. I've had many people over the years say to me, well, Doc, I smoke and I do eat a lot of junk food, but I take vitamins. I take a lot of vitamin C for the smoking, and that doesn't work. You see, we have to change our lifestyle in order for this innate intelligence, this vital force in the body, to be strong. And when it is powerful, our immune system is likewise more effective, okay? So I just wanted to make that point, because I think that it's important to see that this vital force is what knows exactly how to deal with virus, bacteria, pathogens, disease once it is let out of its suppressors, and I'll show you what that is in a moment. Okay, so when it is unbridled, it's intelligent, it knows exactly what to do to heal your body. And in most cases, some very serious illnesses can be reversed and managed. I've seen this happen so many times in my practice. Okay. All right, next slide here. So this vital force in your body, when it's healthy, it flows. It's adaptable to the changes in your inner and outer environment. There's a balance or homeostasis on the physical, emotional, and mental levels, okay? And now, when there is suppression of this vital force, okay, see that little character on the left? That's the vital force, is lying down. When there's suppression of the vital force, there is a tendency then to move into disease. On the physical body, we can feel emotionally or mentally down. And what are the suppressors that we're talking about here? Okay. What are some of the suppressors? Hi, Buck. Hi, Marion. If you want to throw comments into the comment banner on below, that'd be great too. But what are the suppressors of wellness of this vital force? Well, think about it in terms of food. A lot of junk food suppresses the vital force. Too much alcohol, cigarettes, alcohol, soda. All of those things, not enough exercise, negative thinking, any kind of these continual negative suppressors actually cause a reduction of the vital force. The immune system becomes weak or weaker, and that allows illness to start to take plant inside the body, okay? And overstimulation, you can see here on this side, on overstimulation, it's when we mentally, how many people are overstimulated now? Okay, in these days, I mean, we're worried. There's a lot of worry. We're under a lot of tension. We drink too much coffee, maybe alcohol, so many things, sugar. We overstimulate our body. We're on devices all the time, looking at our phone, on the internet. So this is overstimulation. And so in order to regain our health from suppression, we have to remove or reduce these health suppressors. There's one doctor that used to say that health is a shedding process. In other words, we shed those habits that are suppressing this very powerful vital force. And as far as overstimulation, we remove again any of those causal sensory or mechanisms that are causing our body to be physically overloaded, overstimulated, in order to go back to homeostasis or balance. Okay? Now, we call our wellness program, after, gosh, so many years of studying wellness and health hi Joe, in our in our careers, in private practice, consultations, doing the wellness programs. And so Seikan really is an amalgamation of a Japanese word, which is kind of like a marriage of power. It's a power of vitality. And so what we have discovered is there's essentially three gateways of power to optimal well-being. The first one is building immunity. It's increasing vitality through lifestyle changes. And that allows adaptability to internal and external environments. Okay, that's number one. The second gateway is developing focus. It's so important to pay attention to what's important in your life with mindfulness, with meditation, and even affirmations. It's developing focus. In other words, it's calming the nervous system. Okay? How you pay attention to what you focus on is so important. And as we all know, whatever we're focused on gets bigger. Okay? So if we're paying too much attention to negativity, it just grows. If we pay a lot of attention to what is working in our life, that grows too. Okay? And the third one here is about shifting mindset. Now, of all of them, they're all important, but this is probably the most important because this means that we have to have a purposeful, sustaining life philosophy along with a psychology of attitudinal empowerment. How many people have promised themselves that they would make changes to their lifestyle? And they haven't. How many people just a month ago have said that come 2021, considering the illness that is so pervasive in the planet, and even before coronavirus, there was a lot of chronic and acute disease that was growing. How many people have said they were going to make shifts? Well, what I have discovered over the years, that unless there is a powerful emotional reason to shift our lifestyle, it doesn't happen. Okay? In other words, you have to have a big why. You have to have a reason that's powerful, an emotional reason that is bigger than those factors that cause us not to move forward with changes of lifestyle. And so many times I've been with people, for example, who have had cancer of the throat, and they've come to see me in practice, and I see a package sticking out of their pocket, a guy in this situation, and I would say, what's that? And he says, cigarettes. Well, I just have a few a day now, and he's had throat surgery, and I can see him, for cancer, and I can see him leaving the clinic, and he pulls out a cigarette and blows it, smokes it through the hole in the throat. So everybody has a great intention to change their lifestyle. Okay, whether it's to lose weight or whether it's to prevent illness or take care of some problem that they have. But they don't manage to because there's not a big enough why. And this requires a very powerful emotional and mental decision to do so. So this is why I think that shifting mindset is probably one of the most important parts of our Seikan Shikara program. And when I was lecturing every day at our wellness program, 7 days a week, an hour a day, that was a big part, is the psychology of wellness. And I'm going to do a live stream on the psychology of getting well in one of our seminar series, okay? Because I find it's so vitally important to understand how it works, okay? So, Gateway 1. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, these three, the Gateway 1, 2, and 3, simply because I want to get to your questions. I want to go into the astrology part of it, okay? So the Gateway 1 is building immunity. So nutrition is so vitally important. What you put into your body every single day determines the state of health that you enjoy or don't enjoy, okay? So we follow a low-carb, I think I put especially processed, not processed, it should be, with moderate fat and protein, okay, and a high greens nutrition, high water content food. Daily body movement, muscle conditioning, cardio of some sort. You don't have to, you're not looking to win a contest or anything. You just have to move your body. Increasing metabolism is so vitally important, and this can be measured through pulse rate, blood pressure. There's various ways, but we want to measure your thyroid and adrenal gland function too. I'm going to do a whole live stream on that particular topic, because very often people have thyroid and adrenal gland problems that are or undiagnosed. Gut health, vitally important. And of course, your sleep habits. The key here is high vitality, okay? So we want to build a very strong immune system. And the only way we can do that is through changing our lifestyle, okay? It isn't by changing supplements. It isn't by putting your feet in a barrel, a basin, and doing a detox. None of those things work, okay? It's got to be changing your lifestyle. It's 80% of it. It is 80% of it, following the Seikon Shikara principles, okay? And the rest of it can be medications. And look, even if you're taking regular orthodox medical drugs, you still have to optimize your body's ability to be able to utilize those drugs effectively. So it's still important for you to maintain a healthy mind-body lifestyle, okay? Now, the next one here is Gateway 2. And this is the part where we are developing focus, okay? This is through mindfulness. Mindfulness just simply means that you're paying attention to this moment. You are not living in the past and thinking a lot about what has already gone on in your life, nor anxiety for the future. It's this present moment consciousness, okay? It's hard to do. It isn't easy, but it's absolutely necessary to pull our mind back to this present moment whenever we can. You know, if we live our life, I think Tony Robbins has said, if we live our life looking in the mirror, always looking at the past, we bring only and usually we're looking at the past in a way that's very fearful. We tend to repeat ourselves. We tend to repeat our life mistakes. Okay, so that's why it's vitally important that we have a form of mindfulness in place. Meditation, relaxation. Look, it doesn't have to be formal meditation. Some people say, but I can't stop my thoughts. Well, neither can I. I don't think that's the real process of meditation. It's really just focusing on one particular thing again and bringing our thoughts back to that present moment and relaxation. And look, this can be done too, just sitting near the ocean where we are. Just sit on a log, sit in your flower garden, watch the bees. Not now. You can look out the window and watch the snowflakes fall. Very beautiful thing, very relaxing. Okay. The other one here I have is keeping your word to yourself. That's a very important point, is that if you tell yourself that you're going to make some changes to your lifestyle, do so. All right? If you're not, don't say anything, because the worst person you can lie to is yourself. Centering, third position objective, it just means pull yourself out of a situation to see yourself from a third position. It just makes you more objective and takes the emotion out of any situation. And so that is about Again, the key word, mental clarity and stress reduction. Okay, and don't forget that whenever you have a strong emotion, you feel it in your body, right? Uh, I know that if I'm looking over heights, I get this feeling in my toes where it's like a buzzing. But you know, when you're angry or upset or happy, you can feel it in your gut, in your chest, in your shoulders. Some people feel it in their legs. But we know that emotions are mirrored in the body. So that's why it's vitally important to try and keep our emotions on a steady keel, because through the science of psychoneuroimmunity, a $10 word that simply means that what we think about has a direct effect on our body. We know that especially when we're ill, we can't we do what we can and then we let go. Okay? And this is where the third part comes in, the third part of Saikhan Shakara. And that's here. Okay? That's here. This is where you shift mindset. Now, when I'm talking about developing a supportive life philosophy, this is what I mean. That sometimes when the shit hits the fan, you need to have some type of inner philosophy that supports you. Okay. Now, some people have a strong faith. They can be in God. Some people have a strong faith in the power of natural healing. Whatever it is, they have a dynamic support system, an inner support system where they know that whatever happens is meant to be. There's a saying that says, life doesn't happen to me, it happens for me, which means that we learn through illness as well. So through getting sick, oftentimes there's a lesson involved. And I don't like those lessons either, as much. Nobody likes them, but that is still the reality of life. And so purpose and destiny come into play here. What's your purpose? Why are you here? You know, and some people have a big purpose. You know, we can talk about Martin Luther King. We can talk about a Gandhi. We can talk about so many of these people who sacrifice a lot of their time in their life, but we all have a purpose. We all have a reason for being here. To live sanely, well, it's a little bit crazy, the world we have right now, and that's why meditation and relaxation are so vitally important. Taking time to walk in the country, because we have to unclutter our life to make it a little simpler so we can be authentic. And the key words here are attitudinal healing. Okay, so it's shifting our attitude into one that's supportive instead of one that doesn't support us and may lead us into habit patterns that cause illness and other problems. Okay, so let's go into the next one here. Okay, so how does astrology work with wellness and natural healing? Okay. How does wellness work with astrology and natural healing? So let's go into that. Okay. Now, I need to tell everybody that astrology by itself is not sufficient to even consider diagnosing with just astrology or making any kind of prognostic predictions. Okay. Astrology shows where there is a trend. Your birth chart shows where there is a particular, perhaps a particular concern that that certain systems are at risk if you are abusing your body. Okay, so these systems that are at risk, it's the same way as maybe you've heard of something called, well, it's to do with cell immunity, but essentially, for example, if you have a diabetic gene, and that doesn't mean you get diabetes, not at all. It's the environment around the cell that may dictate whether or not that gene gets turned on. And it's the same way with astrology. There, it can show some of the problems, the inherent problems that may occur, but only under certain circumstances. Okay? So just keep that in mind as we're talking about astrology. There's some people, and I've seen this on the internet, where they take, you know, a short astrology course in medical astrology, and they're on these Facebook groups and telling people some really silly and sometimes horrendous things. So make sure that when someone is reading your chart using astrology, that they have some training in wellness and health, and that includes training in pathologies. Okay, and there are medical doctors that I know that practice astrology, psychologists, psychiatrists. As I said in my last live stream, I was introduced to astrology through a medical doctor. Okay, so there's many people who do this, so make sure you have it done. And of course, if you want it done with me, I'd be pleased to do it too. So I have a special for people who are on the live stream for if you, at the end of the live stream, I'll be telling you about this. Okay, so now the next slide here. Astrology can also determine timings for possible illness and wellness recoveries. It's an incredible tool for this as well. Okay, so as I had written here, the astrological system is one of observation and interpretation based on somewhat of a complex system of planets, signs, and houses. Okay, so let's look at that. Okay, so for example, I need to make that a little bigger for everybody. For example, if the planet Saturn challenges a planet linked to some parts of the health sectors in your astrology chart, you could have issues related to joint stiffness. For example, people with a lot of planets, for example, in what's called fixed houses, could be the second house in astrology. I'll show you a chart shortly. And maybe in fixed signs like Taurus or Scorpio, they can tend to get arthritis. And on the emotional plane, they need a little bit more flexibility as well. Yeah, Saturn can lead to skin issues and venous insufficiency, feeling tired, depressed, wasting illnesses, blockages, contraction. Can be anything to do with the gallbladder too. For example, if Saturn's squaring Saturn is challenging a Mars in someone's chart, they can bring up these problems. Okay, so what we do is we look at what sign and house that planet that is being challenged by Saturn, where it is, the mathematical angles it makes to other planets and points in the chart to make a specific determination. Okay, and don't forget that just like the example I used in our last live stream, if you're looking at the weather and the weather person says it's going to rain tomorrow, what do? Well, you bring an umbrella. Okay, so you prevent problems. If I look at somebody's chart and I see predilection for, say, an arthritic condition, I may say, you know what, coming up to these particular dates, if I was you, I would make sure your diet is more alkaline, high water content. Alkaline diet is simply having more fruits and vegetables and making sure you have enough water, and less of acid-producing foods, which tend to be too much meat and processed carbohydrates, soda pop, all of those things, you know, the things we love. Okay. Okay, if the planet Uranus challenges a planet linked to your health picture, you could have issues related to nervous system exhaustion. It's a hyperexcitability of your nervous system. You could have spasmodic muscles, frequent leg cramps, foot cramps, insomnia, things that happen out of the blue. They come very quickly. Fortunately, they leave quickly too. Sore upper shoulder areas, ankles, calf problems, okay? Any of those kinds of things. Here's another example. If the planet Neptune challenges a planet or point linked to your health picture in your chart, you could have issues related to the lymph system. You could have sugar and alcohol cravings, okay? You could have allergies and food sensitivities. Now, this applies also, to the natal chart, but also as planets move around your natal chart symbolically, it sets off certain parts of your health picture that can bring these things in an acute fashion, okay? Or bring them back if you've had them before, okay? So that's just something to consider, okay? All of these particular symptoms. All right. I couldn't find a decent uh, uh, picture of the planet Pluto. It's so small anyway, so hence I got Pluto that we all love and adore from when we were kids. So when Pluto is affecting your chart, your natal chart, your birth chart, or in transits, in other words, as the planets move around the chart, they set off certain aspects related to your health picture. They can affect the thyroid gland, the reproductive system. It's very unusual where we don't see Pluto linked to a health connected planet. And associated with cancer, it brings up boils. It brings up issues with the large intestine. Okay, so when you see a health problem astrologically associated with Pluto, this is where a complete change in lifestyle habits is necessary. Okay, especially when it gets into very serious illnesses like cancer. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one here. All right, so most people know their sun sign, right? Most people know their sun sign. So, if you're a Taurus or if you're a Libra or Scorpio, Sagittarius, Pisces, but each one of these particular signs can have a planet associated with it or planets. And if those planets are connected to specific health sectors in your chart, you can have these particular problems. Now, this is very simple. It's a little more complex than this, but this is very simple. So, sometimes people, for example, Geminis can have problems with their lungs, upper respiratory problems, hands and arms, but also planets linked to that are in Gemini that are linked to the health sector. Same with Sagittarius or Capricorn, all of these things, okay? So let's have a look at a okay, so there are planetary combinations and timings called chart progressions. This is what I was referring to, is that your chart, it's static, your birth chart, which is created from the time you're born, the place you were born, okay, and a date. So, and that's static, but as the planets symbolically move around that chart, they set off certain aspects in your chart that can lead to illness. But here's the amazing thing is that astrology can also show when these particular challenges are letting go, but it can also show you when you're, without even being sick, that potentially this is where you can turn on the aspects, certain health habits that you need to change. Maybe your diet needs to change. Well, this is a perfect time, and you can see it. And people will start to exercise, and they will start to do the things necessary to regain optimum health. Okay? Let's go to the next one here, shall we? Okay, here's a real chart. Okay, so I'm going to go over some of okay, so look at this here. You have the first house, second house, third house, fourth house, fifth. There's 12 houses in astrology, and each one of those houses represent a department of life. Okay? But tonight we're going to be talking about certain particular ones. Here's the ascendant, the physical body. This is an important house when we're looking at wellness. This person has what's called an intercepted first house. So they got two. Okay? Now, the ruler, or that's a Sagittarius ascendant. This person has a Sagittarius ascendant. That means that Sagittarius, the sign of Sagittarius, has an effect on the first house of the body. So any potential problems would be linked to the liver or the thighs, the hips, okay, in there. Now the ruler or the planet associated with Jupiter, with Sagittarius, is right here, Jupiter. See, and it's in Taurus. So there could be potential problems with the liver and the neck. Okay, the throat. Okay, the second one, here's the second ascendant, Capricorn. So there's potential problems with the bones, the skin. The ruler or the planet associated with Capricorn is Saturn. Saturn is in Libra, so there could be potential problems with the kidney area, maybe even the pancreas, okay? The other point in astrology is the sixth house. Now, this person has Gemini on the sixth house of health, okay? And Gemini, again, relates to health problems related to the upper arms, the hands, okay, the upper shoulders, and also a tendency to go into what could be called a Vata state. Now, this is Ayurvedic medicine, which simply means an overstimulation of the nervous system, okay? So there needs to be calmness and relaxation and body massage at different times throughout a person's week or month, meditation, those kinds of things. The planet associated with Gemini is here. Look at this. Mercury here in the fourth house in Aries. Again, potential problems can be related to the head area. All right? Okay. Now, in astrology, we look at, let's look at this planet Mercury here, okay? So that is a health point in the chart. And it sits almost opposite to this planet here, Neptune, okay? Now, Neptune can bring in issues of, remember, allergies and food sensitivities, weaker immune system, and that's a challenge. It can also bring into play carbohydrate sensitivity, which, again, carbohydrate cravings, alcohol cravings, those kinds of things can be manifested. Okay. Now, let's look at two other points. One is a vitality point. That's Mars. Mars in your chart is where, it's a very important planet of vitality. And where it's located in your chart can bring energy and vitality, or if it's challenged, can bring some health problems. Okay, here's the second point here, the sun. That's your vitality as well. Okay, and if that's linked to a health sector, there can be problems with the cardiovascular system, the heart, the upper spine. Okay, again, this is a simple thing. So remember I had said that planets move around the chart. Well, right now, Saturn is sitting right here in the chart, challenging these two planets, Saturn, Mars and the Moon, and Jupiter and Venus. Okay, so what if we're looking from a health standpoint here? Saturn challenges Mars in Scorpio. That can be problems with the thyroid gland. Potentially, that could be problems with the reproductive gland. In a male would be the prostate. Female would be ovaries. And this area here, Jupiter in Taurus, can be problems with the neck, or here Jupiter in this Jupiter planet represents a liver. So in Taurus, what it means is any kind of nourishment taken through the mouth can cause problems with the liver. And this also, Scorpio, where Saturn is challenging this Mars and Scorpio planet, can lead to bowel stasis. In other words, a person can have a lot of constipation, which leads to toxic waste buildup. Okay? So that just gives you an idea of how an astrologer looks at a chart. And this may look so foreign to you, but it actually is, when it's broken down, it's a very simple outline of what can be accomplished looking at a chart. Okay. Now the planet Uranus is also sitting right here now. It's right in about here, and it's touching these planets. Now remember I said Jupiter is a planet that deals with the liver. So Uranus conjunct Jupiter, because it rules or associated with the ascendant, it can bring nervous, life changes so quickly, it can bring nervous problems and sleep disorders as well, because Jupiter also rules or associated with the third house, and that's associated with how you get sleep. So sleep can be interrupted as well. Okay, so there are various ways of looking at a chart to bring to get an idea of where there could be potential health challenges, the timings involved, because you can be very specific with the timings, when the challenge is over, and specifically when there are some other good things involved, like Saturn can be very good. Uranus and Neptune, all of these planets that have challenges can also flow in the birth chart to bring about some real powerful, excuse me, real powerful healings, okay? So that's what I look at in a chart. Plus, then I print out a number of pages of what's called progression, so I get a full idea of a person's health picture. Okay, so it's very involved. I spend a fair bit of time before I do a consultation with somebody to get a reasonable understanding of where they're at. And then if I'm doing a health consultation with somebody and using astrology, it's a very powerful combination. Okay, because I'm a great believer in science too, and some conventional lab tests. So if I have somebody's lab tests in front of me and their chart, and I'm doing a health consultation, a health case history, looking at the past and the present, their lab work, I get a pretty good picture of where somebody's at. Okay, and again, if you want your chart done with me, I'd be pleased to do this with you and for you. I can do a health consultation and or just an astrology chart consultation, or a blend, whatever you prefer. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, so just to give you an idea of our roadmap, we do consultations. We're going to be setting up podcasts. We're going to have special guests that we're setting up already. We're going to have webinars. We're going to have a special webinar coming up shortly on building the immune system. Marian's going to have some cooking tips. We're going to have cooking videos, recipes. If you know Marian, her food, absolutely incredible. Her gift is to make foods that we all love but are unhealthy and make them into a healthier version. We do wellness coaching, astrology coaching, these kinds of live streams. I'm going to be doing online courses here for people that you can take at your leisure. They'll be done on video. And as soon as coronavirus is finished, we're going to be doing some wellness retreats. Back into doing those again, because they're very special, where you take between 3 days to however long we have these retreats, and you're our willing captive, and we're able to help you change your lifestyle and support you in this. Okay, so it's astrology, it's wellness, it's a perfect complement to each other. And very powerful and very science-based as well. So I don't like to add any fluff or religion or anything like that to any of my work. It's got to stand on its own merits, right? So if you want your chart done, I said I would have a special for you. Okay, and so this special is I'm going to have where did I put it here? I did put it. Okay. Well, anyway, this is the second time I've lost it. Anyway, we have a special, and this is $50 off. Okay. So if you email us mail us an email, send us an email at info@destinycyclesresearch.com. I'm going to give you $50 off. And that $50 off is for any individual consultation. Okay, there it is. All right, so this is an individual consultation, relationship consultation. Okay, and even if this is a first time for you, you get it off. If I've done your charts before, you get it off. This is just for your astrology chart, okay? And you've got to let us know by tomorrow night at midnight And we're going to give you, this is the first time I've ever done it. It's a special. I don't think I'll do it again. But this will be a special. So go to our website, destinycyclesresearch.com, or send an email at info@destinycyclesresearch.com. You'll get $50 off, which is a very substantial. And then again, too, if you already have had your chart done and you send somebody to me as a standard gift, I always take $25 off your chart. So some people can get free charts that way. Okay, so that's pretty much all I had to say. If there's no questions or comments, I'm going to end it now. If there are any questions afterwards, you can always email me at the info@destinycyclesresearch.com, and I'd be happy to personally answer any questions you have, keeping in mind that just in an email, I don't diagnose, of course, or give any kind of prognostication. Okay? All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining me this evening, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Thanks very much. Take care.